Okay, let's go ahead and move on. We're going to go ahead and finish up the solving equations part by doing a couple of, or doing some examples. And here we go. Let's go ahead and do it. Example number 5. Okay, so these are all kind of like your word questions. So pay close attention to not necessarily the mechanics of once we set the equation up, but how to get to, how do we set it up? Okay, what are the clues that we use to do that? Okay, so that's the most important part for you here, okay? So example number 5, how much pure acid must be added to 50 milligrams of 35% acid solution to produce a mixture that is 75% acid, okay? So I have an existing 35% solution here. This is 35% solution, and it is 50 milliliters. So I have 50 milliliters of 35% acid, right? Now I'm going to add to here pure acid. I'm adding pure acid here. So it's 100% acid, right? 100% acid. Okay. I don't know how much it is. Okay. And that's what I'm trying to find out. I'm trying to find how much acid do I have to add. So as in most word problems, you would say, since I don't know how much we're adding, we will put that as, or this is what they want us to find. They want us to find this. So I'm going to add X milliliter of 100% acid to this guy, right? So currently, we have this. We have 35% of 50 milliliters, right? So if I went ahead and found out how much acid am I going to have all together once I've added this. So I'm going to have X, this amount of acid plus the existing acid that I had here. How much existing acid did I have here? Well, it's 35% of the 50 milliliters. So it's going to be 50 times the 0.35. So this is the total amount of acid that I'm going to have once I put in the X milliliters, okay? What's my total volume of liquid that I'm going to have? I had 50 milliliters. And I'm going to add the X milliliters there, right? Okay. But what do I want to end up with? So this would be the final percent, right? And the final percent needs to be what? 0.75. So this needs to be, whoops. This needs to be 0.75, right? Or, since we are all really good at math here, we can say that this is going to be 3/4, 75%, right? So I can multiply across. I'm going to get what? 4 times X plus 50 times that is, it's like it's 17.5. And then I'm going to multiply this guy, so I get 3 times 50 plus X. 4x plus, this is going to be what? So it's going to be 70. I get 150 plus 3x. Okay. So if I move this guy over, I get 4x minus 3x, which is going to be x. I'm going to move the 70 over here, so I get 150 minus 70. X is equal to 80. So 80 milliliter is my answer. Okay? So that's example number 5. Example number 6. Example number 6. Find the dimensions of the rectangle with a minimum parameter if its area is 200 square meters. Find this least parameter. Okay, so I have a rectangle which the area is 200. Area is 200, right? So if this guy was X, whatever this guy is, when I multiply it, it has to be 200. So this guy is definitely going to be that. Because now when I multiply these two together, I get 200, right? So the perimeter is going to be what? So it's going to be 2x plus 400x, right? Because I can add these two together to get 2x. I add these two together to get this guy, right? So I want to know when this guy is the minimum, right? So basically, I'm just going to go ahead and put this in the calculator and graph it. And if I graph it, I'm going to get a graph that looks like this. And I'm going to find right here where it's the minimum, and just happens to be that it's going to be 10, what is it going to be? It's going to be 14.14. So what's special about 14.14? By the way, what is 14.14? Anybody know what that is? Is there anybody out there that can see that this guy is going to be equal to 10 root 2? Root 2 is going to be 1.4. I forgot the 2. Root 2 is going to be 1.414. Root 3 is going to be equal to 1.7321. These are numbers that are kind of good to have in your back of your mind. Okay, you don't have to memorize them, but I mean, especially if you have any inkling to becoming like an engineer, these are good numbers to have in your mind. So this is going to be 10 root 2. Okay, so if this is 10 root 2, what is this guy going to be? This is going to be 200 divided by 10 root 2, which just happens to be what? 10 goes away, you get 20 over root 2. I multiply top and bottom by root 2, I get 2, 20 root 2, 10 root 2. Uh-oh. So this is 10 root 2, this is 10 root 2, this is 10 root 2, this is 10 root 2. So this rectangle becomes a square, which kind of makes sense. You would guess that something special would happen when the rectangle becomes a square. And the something special that happens is the perimeter becomes the smallest. Okay, all right. Now, when you get to calculus, we can take a look at this, and we can be able to actually find the 10 root 2 solution without graphing it. Okay, we will do that in calculus. Okay, let's look at example number 7. Example number 7, Stewart cannery packages tomato juice in 2-liter cylindrical cans. Find the radius and the height of the cans if the cans have a surface area of that. So I have a surface area of this. And I have a volume of 2 liters, which is the same as 2,000 cubed. Okay, and what am I trying to find? I'm trying to find the radius and the height. So the radius here is R, and the height here is H. Okay, so if I look at what is the area here? The area, are we going through this? Okay, so let's go to volume. Let's do the volume first. The volume is going to be equal to the base area times the height. So the base area is pi r squared times the height. And this is going to be 2,000. Okay, and then I'm going to have what? The surface area. Surface area is going to be the top 2 circles, right? So the surface area, the area of this guy again is pi r squared, and I have 2 of those. And then I have the side part. The side part is, if I go ahead and cut this in half, and flop it open, I'm gonna end up with this, where these are the tops and the bottoms. The tops and the bottoms are already accounted for by this. Now I know this is the height, right? All I need to know is find the length here. And the length here is what? The length here is the same as the circumference of this guy, right? And the circumference of this guy is going to be 2 pi r. So I'm going to have 2 pi r times h. 2 pi r times h, and this guy is 1,000. Okay? So, where do I go from here? I'm going to go ahead and I have this guy. And so I'm going to solve for h here, right? Because I can't have both of them running together. So h is going to be equal to pi r squared. If I divide that by that, I get pi r squared here. So I'm going to get 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r, 2,000 pi r squared is equal to 1,000. Pi cancels out. This r and this r cancels out. 2 pi r squared plus 4,000 r is equal to 1,000. Okay. So there's no easy way to do this, right? So again, in calculus, we'll figure out how to do this, but we don't know how to do this yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead, and there are 2 ways to do this. You can go ahead and plot this in your calculator and see where it hits 1,000, or you can go ahead and move 1,000 over and say, and set this equal to 0 and find out where it hits the, you can find out where this hits the x-axis, right? Where y is going to be equal to 0, right? And I think the book did it that way and found that there are 2 places that where the r, so they go ahead and solve this, and r is going to be equal to either 9.65 and 4.62. And once I know this, I can put this into here where I said what? So, and I also know that pi r squared h is going to be equal to 2,000. So I can say that h is going to be equal to 2,000 over pi r squared. And I can put these r's into here and calculate the corresponding h's. If I do that, I get 29.83 and 6.83, right? So the larger the r, the smaller the h. The larger the r, the smaller the h. So these 2 are 1 pair, and these 2 are 1 pair. When r is equal to 4.62, h is equal to 29.83. When r is equal to 9.65, h is equal to 6.83. Okay. Again, you're gonna find this through the graphs. Okay, so you're gonna just use your calculator and find it through the graphs. Okay. All right, that's it. We're done. We are done. Are there any questions?